Okay, fine. So this is the link for you to get access to the working files bit.ly/bankauditdc. It contains compilation of all the stuff required for the bank audit. Link again. Okay, it is bit.ly/bankauditdc. It should be in small letters. It is case sensitive. Chairman, let the recording be stopped when we share the password. Sound the password. Plus, don't start the recording, Chairman. MBSIRC 12.23. So you will get this ICI 5G. I think that is the net connection, and the password for that is MBSIRC 123. Hope you have noted the password, because I will delete it from the screen, because in recording I don't want that to come. Is it working, sir? Can somebody confirm? Yes. Okay. Is MBSCRC 123. Chairman, we are good to go away. So this is the link where for next 10-15 days there will be a lot of updations, so which members can take benefit. So before we get into the subject per se, first, to start an audit, we require the data or the resources, and that comes mostly in the form of text file, or sometimes the banks do give in the form of Excel file itself. Now let me tell you, it is always advisable that you get that in text file and then do the data crunching yourself, because many a time the file what you receive may be tampered with, not intentionally but unintentionally also. So it is always better that you get the file in the raw format. And the best thing is the next one. Sir, should we rely on a downloaded file, or we should download the file? Please download the file yourself. Point number one. If you are not able to do it, at least when it is happening, you be there around the system. Because if anywhere, if your base data is wrong, then all the exercise what you do also can go wrong. So you have to be very careful with these 2 points. Third very important point is, in all what you do, you got to have your audit documentation also with you. Many a time we have observed that most of the times we do all the work, but the moment we ask, sir, what did you verify or how all you did, we don't have records to substantiate that. So ensure that you have the documentation. And this one file which I have given in that worksheet, 01 Bank Audit Control Sheet version 1.1. This sheet itself helps you to create documentation, which I'll be covering you in this session actually. So even apart from that, you might do a lot of other things. Please open an Excel sheet, or in the same sheet, you can add additional sheets and have documentation ready with you. Many a time what we miss is, sir, I remember doing that thing, but I don't know what exactly I did. See, we don't even remember what we did before 2-3 days. How are we going to remember after 1 year if somebody wants a data, or probably even after 1 month, or even probably after 1 week? So ensure that whatever is being done is getting recorded. And fourth important, please go with the audit program. Don't go on random. Many a time we have seen the assistant will come, sir, maybe 1 or 2 times you can do that, but please have the parameters ready, have an audit program ready. It helps. We have seen most of the time we spend more time in execution than planning, but actually it should be the other way around. We have to spend most of the time in planning, the least time should be only in execution. It's only then we will know what we have missed, and if at all we have missed, we know the consequence or repercussion of that, and we can overcome that also. So ensure that you go with a proper audit program. Now, you don't have to structure it very formally. You can jot down highlights of these are the areas, and probably these are the ones who are going to do that also. So that before even going into the branch, the persons or your team will know what they have to do actually. So that he will also prepare on those lines. Okay, I'm going to look into LFAR. So I will go through LFAR once. But if the person doesn't know, he will not kind of get serious about anything at all actually. And very importantly, the training and the planning part, which I already covered. Ensure that you yourself first get trained by going through the audit program once. Like every year we have a bank audit and we all come for the bank audit. Why we come is because it's been 1 year, we shouldn't miss the important point. Likewise, we need to see that we kind of go through all the important circulars, important parameters to see that we don't miss out on things. And then training your staff also is very important. It does not help if only you are trained. The team who is going to go with you, please spend some reasonable time with them, sit with them, because if you spend time with them and they're able to clarify their doubts, the outcome will be better. I always keep telling that many a time we tell half things to our article and expect double. Double, which is not going to work out. So please see that they are also updated of what they have to do. Maybe all those areas you can tell it to everybody, irrespective of the fact that only one person will be seeing the area. So that for some reason, if that person is not coming, you can always have a replacement also. And today's session, including all which we do, is only going to, the object is to only strengthen your concepts. Whatever in the limited time, the examples what we give will help you to definitely strengthen your concepts in all what you do. Please ensure that your concepts are being strengthened. In fact, if you ask me, all the LFR points, we can use technology. And we have been using it knowingly or unknowingly. So the moment you do it, please structure it. One, second, document it also as what you have did. Probably in LFR, you can have additional column. What are the file you access to? How did you do it actually? And you can have one sheet which contains all the annexes for the LFR also. So tomorrow when you go back or you want to refer, it's easy for you to start from where you have left actually. And very importantly, audit is not an investigation. We don't do 100% of things. We do sample checking. So we should have the record of the samples which we have taken. Many a time we have seen that Reserve Bank of India or institute or other regulators send that, no, you have did the audit. We found that there are some accounts which you have got not audited or missed. What is your opinion on that? Now, if you don't have documentation, you'll never even know. Luckily, this time LFR does capture the list of accounts examined. But even if it was not there, it is our duty. And this point is not for this bank audit. It's for any audit. Ensure that what are the samples you have tested on which you have given your opinion. Please have it handy with you. And in fact, you have written current year losses. It is current year samples actually. These are the hazards when you work late night actually. So you have to pick the top 5 or 10 samples, and very importantly, do not miss out the current year samples, because that will give you an indication of the health of the branch, that how it is performing in the current year also. And very importantly, many a time we have seen that the system settings in the laptop or your system will create some hindrances, especially in the date or other things. So the suggestion will be to use a laptop which you have already been using. Bank audit pudu laptop it's like our olden days where we used to write our exams. We were advised not to carry new pen on that day. It is better you go with a used pen. Similarly, see this laptop I'm comfortable. In fact, I bought this connector. Had I not bought this connector and have used some other laptop, I would have struggled keying in. Now, page up, page down, so it is, if you are used to something, it will help you to do things with ease. So kindly ensure that you use a laptop which you have been using it very regularly. It will help you to speed up things also. And today, the technique which I'm going to tell and what CA Ratnagiri sir will also cover, there is no single way of to do things. I will tell you one way, tomorrow I'll tell you another way, or you yourself will have another way of doing things. Till you get the result right, every way is correct. Maybe few techniques will have a way which will achieve you to get the results in a shorter span of time. Use that. That is always better. But no, sir, I forgot that those techniques, or I feel I'm not comfortable with that. You can do your own traditional way, no trouble actually. But definitely you should know that what are the ways available, and to achieve at one single result, there are multiple ways of doing it, and every way can be correct as well. And very importantly, again, this is not limited to bank audit. Ensure that proper backups are available. In fact, when we do an audit, we put all the stuff in OneDrive or Google Drive. So that today, like I have shared you the link, you are able to access the file. Likewise, the data is put there so that we don't have to know that this file was, the final file is in this system or that system. or in the bank system. Please put it in OneDrive or Google Drive and use your own laptops to the possible extent. Yes, we need bank's system connection, but working files allame nama laptop la vekkiradhu nalladhu, and it should be connected to the net so that people can access real time also. So take care of that part also. And the last one, they said computers and technology will make life easier. Yes, it has made life easier to a smaller extent, but it has made a lot of things difficult also. We are facing a lot of other challenges, but then today we are able to achieve a lot more things which we would have never achieved. Probably my one of the coverages for the one of the LFAR point that whether the bank has maintained the retention limits which it has been set. The general comment I remember in those days we will give, the bank has generally not complied or generally complied. Now generally complied, not complied, there is no substantiation that how many days they have complied, how many they have not. But today with technology, it is actually possible for us to pinpoint exactly that how much days they have did and how much days they have not did, and what is the maximum amount. See, in the Marine value addition, it will help the bank also tomorrow either increase the retention limit or reduce the retention limit or go for a higher insurance. So all those things will help us to help the management and the central statutory auditor to arrive at the exact position. So to that possible extent, let us use technology and see that we are able to complete the bank audit within time, fullest to our satisfaction. That matters more. We won't be able to do 100% with given the limited time, but time should not be a challenge for us to compromise on the quality. Please don't do that. One day, 2 days extra, or you can always go to the branch and come back telling that, sir, these are areas we have not covered. You would like to come back. I know it is easier said and done on a stage. And I feel like more the things are a little difficult, but I feel a proper planning can always help us to achieve the results. So this particular file you are able to download, everybody, this Excel file. Okay. So I have tried to cover, in fact, this is a file which we do in our bank audit. I've been using this for 6-7 years. We have refined it little by little. So I thought I'll share this with everybody so that this will act as a tool for you to do what you have to do, and as well as get things documented or recorded also. So I've given the guidance note on bank audit link, and this Google Drive link is also given just in case somebody has got access to this file directly. You can actually record all the requirements which you want from the bank and list down here. Probably even before going to the branch, you can list down these things and send it to the bank, telling that, sir, kindly keep these things ready. Now, having said that, let me tell you, generally banks will not keep everything ready, in spite of the mails what we send. But at least we will know what we have to ask. We can tell the manager, sir, these many things we have asked. One by one you give, so that we can start doing our job and things will come one by one. And the foremost thing of all is the communication to the previous auditor. There has always been one school of thought that, sir, it is the RBI's intervention through which we get appointed. Should we really communicate to the previous auditor? The answer is big yes. We have to communicate it to the previous auditor as a matter of professional courtesy. The institute wants it. Any kind of audit assignment, please ensure that you communicate it to the previous auditor, and the communication should be by registered post only. That was the thing available before 2-3 years. During COVID, they introduced one system that you can get this communication sent through email also. But the moment you send a communication through email, ensure that the reply comes to you within a reasonable time. If the reply is not coming, if the auditor is not replying, please ensure that you send a registered post with AD. Any other mode of courier, certificate of posting, speed post will not be of any help tomorrow when there is a problem. In fact, I'll share you one more experience. In one of the cases, the auditor wrote to the previous auditor and the auditor actually objected, telling that our expenses are not settled. So initially the bank people called us and told, sir, will you be able to help? This auditor is not giving no objection. Some expense dispute is there. I told very clearly, sir, first you probe into it, why these expenses are pending. If there is a problem from the auditor, we can definitely talk. But if there is no trouble and there is problem from your side, can you just check and come back? After one day, they came back and told that, no, sir, the problem was from the bank side. What happened was the person who was passing the bills for the expenses put a comment that bills not available for claim, so we have rejected the claim. It so happened in that case, during that COVID time, they went to a small remote place. There were no hotels. They survived on only fruits and some other items which they were able to procure from local shop, and they claimed a very, very reasonable amount actually. Now, because there was a communication gap, there was a trouble, and the auditors, the bankers were telling that the auditor is fault, and auditors thought that the bank is not responding to. Now, because of this, what happened? This issue got resolved. So there might be some things which the previous auditor can help you with actually. So please ensure that it is just not for this, but for any assignment, any audits which you have, please communicate to the previous auditor. Audit is compulsory, even if it is a matter of income tax case or a GST case which comes, there is no obligation or no attest function involved. Make it a professional courtesy to call the previous auditor. You might get a lot of inputs. There may be some trouble in the files which this person would not tell you. So upfront, you can know that what are the areas you have to look into it. Many times we have seen the previous auditor value mudichu vechirparu. Kadesi nerathula or issue la vandone they will say, no sir, I would like to change the auditor. Now for all the work what he has did during the year, he is entitled to the fees also. He would not have even put the bill because the work is not over. So please ensure that end of the day it is our own fraternity brethren who is doing the work. Please talk to him or her so that tomorrow there is no trouble for them as well as us when we undertake the assignment. And then I've added one more sheet as certificate tracker. PSU banks have a lot of certificates when compared to the other banks. So I've just given sample of 5-6 items. You can keep adding based on the bank's requirement. The bank's annual circular will tell all the certificates which a CA will have to sign. Ensure that you list down and see what are the information you have got and you give your remarks. For every certificate you issue, it must be backed by proper audit documentation. Otherwise, tomorrow you can be hauled up telling that you have issued this certificate on what basis you issued this. For every certificate, kindly go through the financials or the relevant documents or the relevant statements or documents in the bank. Wherever possible, keep record of that also. Not that you have to take photocopy of all the things what you verify, maybe the account number or the list of accounts you verified or the list of report which you went through to arrive at your conclusion. And then the permanent information of the bank. Many times we have seen after the audit is over, we don't know what was the branch, what was the sole ID, probably and the our statement. So to avoid those things, there is a requirement for the auditors to have KYC, know your client. So maintain these records, though information is available, like the branch ID or the sole ID, the address of the branch, contact number of the branch, email of the branch, name of the manager, the contact number, and what are the areas which are applicable for the branch. Like some of the branches there may be forex applicable, which we may miss out. So you can have a discussion with the manager over phone or on the first day. Ensure that this sheet is also getting filled. And the proprietor or the partner handling the audit and how many people the audit team comprised of actually. And if there is a partnership firm, if somebody has reviewed, you can put the name of that partner also. And this is a small sheet which I have tried to give, which will throw this attendance certificate automatically. In fact, in one of the banks, they insisted as a mandatory thing that you have to get it from the manager. Few banks don't insist, but I like this concept. We actually should know that how many people went for the audit and how many days we have spent on that audit. So if you fill this sheet, the attendance sheet, this attendance certificate will be automatically getting ready. Now I'll just try to write the partner's name. Satish Kumar. Partner. CA Venkatesh. ST. Partner. Followed by assistants. Say Ramesh. And you can just map down the days when they're one for the audit. Now in this case, say Venkatesh sir being senior partner, he has come only from Monday. The junior partners have started say from Friday, Saturday. So now if you go to this attendance sheet, You will see the dates have come automatically. Satish Kumar, he has come for 4 days. If you just select the whole sheet and double click on this, you will get the days also. And the total mandates is also available, 26 mandates, depending on who has gone for the audit. You remove all these days. Say only one, you'll see totally one mandate coming. In fact, if you see the formula, I myself don't know what is the complicated formulas I have used. It was long back I used. You can, those who are interested in knowing how it is done, what it is done, you can explore it. But I've given a small template for you to keep record of that, how many mandates you have spent for one audit actually. And friends, if there is anything in between, because of the video recording, I'm sitting and speaking. If there's anything, feel free to stop me. I don't mind, I mean, covering less things, but whatever I cover, it should reach you fully actually. திருநாவுக்கர் சார் நீங்க கண்டிப்பா டவுட் கேட்கணும் சார். எந்த கேட்டகரி நீங்க சொல்ல முடிஞ்சோடனே ரத்னகிரி சார் இருக்காரு. One more sheet which I have given after this attendance sheet is the other audits. Ask the bank what are the audits the bank branch has undergone, and whatever they say yes or no, please record it in management representation also. Many times we rely on their words because we will never be able to know if there is some audit which has been done and the bank branch has not informed us. So you can write a management representation telling that the branch is subject to these audits only during the year 1, 2, 3, 4. And you get a management representation signed from the branch management. In fact, and I use some small conditional formatting the moment you type something. Issue observed in following cases. On account number 2, the color will change to green, just to give an indication that that line is actually filled. Now, one more thing, if you try to take a printout of this later, I will advise not to take printouts. Please go paperless. But sometimes, maybe when you want to interact with staff, you want to note down something and give a printout. The moment I give a print preview, here there are no shades of those black, yellow and green. I've actually did something to see that in my print, the shades don't come. I'll probably remove it first. Print இப்படி வந்தா நல்லா இருக்குமா இல்ல blank இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்குமா printல laser printல, because the moment there are shades, any text I'll not be able to read it actually. Now if I were to remove these shades, my whole system settings or the Excel settings will go for a toss. I don't want to disturb that, but I want to now take a print without the shades. So for which, go to page setup. It will open a dialog box. In that, the last dialog box sheet, there is an option known as black and white. You click that and say OK. Now the shades are there but not available for print. So it comes very handy where you want to take printouts without those shades actually. So I've covered the concurrent audit, the RB audit if any and their observations, the inspection audit and their major comments, the preceding year statutory audit. We peruse the reports, but நிறைய டைம் வந்து அதுல இருந்து நோட் பண்ணி நம்ம இந்த இந்த ஆடிட்டுக்கு நம்ம என்ன இன்புட் எடுக்கணும்ன்றது நோட் பண்றது இல்ல. Kindly do that also, it will help. So indirectly your previous auditor details also gets captured, name of the auditor, and then the IS audit if the branch has undergone, the revenue audit, stock audit, and you can keep on adding or lessening things whichever you want. Now coming back to this one cell which I filled, I got this 1 and 2 in different lines, but generally it will be within the same cell. It will be difficult to get an item in new line. How do you do that? Alt enter. Ore cell, if you want an item to appear in next line, please use alt enter and you can type. Because if I don't do that, it will come like this. It will be very shabby. So whenever you are typing things where you want in the same cell for a data to come in the next line, please give alt enter. Small things, but it will help you to present yourself better actually. Next, there is a sheet on the physical count of cash which we do. So on any day which you do, you can note down the date and probably indicate whether there is a start of the day or end of the day. We generally don't do in between because we will not know the exact cash which is there in the vault. So it is always either in the beginning or in the end. And here you can give the denomination. Automatically it will give you the cash and the coins, the mutilated notes, fake notes if any they have to maintain, because otherwise the cash won't tally till the system of disposal of fake notes happen. And then there may be cash held in ATM. Few branches may be linked to some ATM for which when you are doing the audit, you can kind of note down. It need not be on 31st March, it can be on any day. Probably they will maintain those slips on 31st March also for you to arrive at the balance, which you can tally with the GL balance. You can note down the name and designation of the custodians of that. And few banks have the concept of late cash. You can note down that also. And then all this cash are subject to periodic verification by other officials. That is also available in the cash register. You can make note of that. When was the surprise verification carried on? Many times we verify on a document. So please record it that when it was verified, who did it with the designation. So this will help you to tomorrow tell anybody that these are the things which I did during the bank audit. And when I'm telling you this, it is just not for the bank audit. The expectation is that for any audits, the documentation is important, and please maintain that. So same thing for ATM. When you do an ATM verification, you can note down the details as to who did that, what was the date and time we verified. This was reviewed by a partner, the name of that person, and what are the observations or issues we have to make note actually. Same thing with the physical count of gel packets. I have kind of given a small idea as to how we can do it. You can completely customize yourself. I don't have to tell you how to do that. End of the day, the packs as per GL and the real packs will definitely be different, and there are genuine reasons for it. Only thing is, see that they are properly recorded, and where you come across cases where the accounts are closed and the packs are available, ensure that the safe custody register or the appropriate register makes note of that. Tomorrow, if there is going to be any packs without any details, it's trouble for everybody, because tomorrow that can be misplaced or can be mishandled by any person in the bank. So ensure that you are able to bring a reconciliation and they're able to give proper justification as to why there is a difference between the physical packs and the packs as per the GL. And what you can do is you can verify few sample packs for the weight. You can use the same appraiser, or if you are planning it in advance, you can ask the appraiser from the nearby branch to come. 10 packets, you can verify the weight of the jewels which are there. Few things you can verify the quantity and record it here also. In fact, I am told few banks, they insist on calling the nearby appraiser and doing the audit actually. If this bank is insisting and giving you directions, follow that. If it is not so, you feel that the quantity is very small, you can get it done from the present appraiser itself. Weight, quantity you can check. Now, whether the gold actually is not our job unless there are reasons for us to suspect. I always tell, you don't have to look everything as a fraud. But if there is a smallest hint which you get, you please catch that and don't miss out on those things. Because I always tell that deep laid frauds. See, the moment I have decided to cheat somebody, now gold is equivalent weight gold metal. So those things we will never be able to find. It's not our job. But yes, if the branch is exposed to a lot of jewel loans, then insist on calling an external appraiser, get 2-3 packs checked whether it is proper or not actually. And then many a time there may be other items found in the vault. So you can note down that also if there are any observations. So similar thing for physical stationery. I've given a small verification how you have to do and give the details of the opening and closing, who are the dual custodians. In fact, here we have to be very careful that the ATM cards and pins, many a time we have seen even today that the ATM cards and pins unwritten comes to the particular branch so that the customer can come and later collect it based on the after providing his ID. But here ensure that the ATM card and ATM pins are not held by the same person. If it is held by the same person, we have an issue of internal control. There can be misuse of things in the bank. So all those small checks you can record. It will be easy for you to know also. And details of missing stationery, details of missing tokens. Today it is all electronic display, but still they will be maintaining the stationery, the tokens. If they are having it in vault, please see that the count from which count to which count it is there. And if there are missing tokens that have been properly reported to the head office, of course it has lost its significance these days. And the postal stamps, revenue stamps and stamp papers, which is held in the bank custody, also has to be noted and checked. And that should tally with your GM. It doesn't stop with just checking that whatever value is there. Maybe in our 5th, 6th part more the rent stamp used to. So you can always verify whether that has been done or not, and you can definitely give a small reconciliation. And above areas verified by particular person who has did, you can write the name, say Ramesh. So similar thing for the lockers and the guarantees. I've given a small annexure, and you can give a list of how many lockers are vacant, and 1 or 2 lockers, vacant lockers also you can verify to see that they're actually vacant. In fact, 1 or 2 banks we have seen they keep some banks important things also there. Just record it that these vacant lockers had these things actually. And then the important analysis which I was telling you, where you are able to get all the cash balances, you can do a small analysis as to how many days the retention limit exceeded or how many days it didn't exceed actually. This will help you to form an opinion for one of the LFIR point. Now in this case, particularly I have given a branch which are subject to 2 limits during the same year. You may come across such thing. So I have given you a working with answers also. So what we will do is now as a matter of practice, we will work on this particular retention practice ourselves to see whether we are able to do it or not. Few banks sometimes figures on the minus layer. You'll have figures like this. How do you convert this into positive numbers? If you get figures like this and you don't want minus, pardon sir? Sometimes the report comes. Report la minus varum sometimes. Ena adu asset side la irukadha asset la minus panni vechipanga avanga bank la. So adha nama vanduchina eppadi eduthu vidnom? Absolute. Okay, so one option ABS open bracket, select the cell, close bracket. How to copy this to all the cells? Double click panna varliye. Enga double click pannu? In the cell la bottom la right la ipo white color plus symbol theriyudunga. The moment I take you, then it becomes a plus black color symbol. I will just double click. I will have that all numbers in positive. Any other way? Yes, one way is find and replace. So I select the C, Control F, find what? Minus, replace with nothing. Don't put anything, say replace all. Simpler way of doing it. Any other way? As I told you, Excel doesn't have just one way, it has multiple ways of doing things. Multiply by minus into minus is plus. So exactly, is coming with that only. Equal to this, equal to minus this. See the risk involved. If there is particular cell which has got plus, that will become minus. So you have to be careful. So into equal to ABS with that cell, that's all. Equal to A, I'll just zoom it. So the best formula is equal to ABS, open bracket, select the cell, close it, and double click. Pardon, sir? No, I deleted that. How it is?
Formula went out. So
இப்போ என்ன ஒண்ணு இந்த மாதிரி நீங்க காப்பி பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் இதை டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணீங்கன்னா the nearby cells will also get disturbed. So many of you will be knowing there is something known as paste special. After you have did something and you want the data to be independent, select the cell, Control C for copying, right click, there is an option known as paste special, select values and say OK. இப்போ என்ன இதை நீங்க இப்போ டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணீங்கன்னா this cell will be independent of the other one. Many a time after you do that, where you don't want formulas, you want it to be independent of the original data, please see that you convert that into independent data using paste special. One more observation, Control C, right click, paste special கொடுக்கும்போது இந்த மேல சிலலாம் வந்து ரவுண்டா இருக்கு, கீழே சில ரெண்டு வந்து ஸ்கொயர்ல இருக்கு. Can somebody tell me what this indicates? Everything has a meaning. மேல ஒரு பார்ட் வந்து ரேடியோ பட்டன்ஸ் we call, that is in round, and then கீழே skip blanks transpose மட்டும் ஸ்கொயர்ல இருக்கு, we call it check box. Why few are in radio buttons, why few are in check box? What is the difference between the two? Perfect. Perfect. So the moment there are radio buttons, you can select only one among the two, one among the all. There cannot be multiple choices. Whereas check boxes you can select or you can ignore all also. So that small difference you should know. So here I will say paste special values. And one more incidental observation, if I right click here, you can see this insert with 3 dots, delete with 3 dots, and the new comment la new note la dot illa. What does that mean? உங்களோட செல்ல ரைட் கிளிக் பண்ணீங்கன்னா கட் காப்பிக்கு டாட் இல்ல, இன்சர்ட்டுக்கு 3 dots இருக்கு, டெலீட்டுக்கு 3 dots இருக்கு. Few are there, few are not there. Can somebody tell what that indicates? There is something which is going to be followed, the action will not be done immediately. So எங்கெல்லாம் 3 dots இருக்கோ ரிஸ்க் எடுத்து கிளிக் பண்ணிடலாம், ஏதாவது அடுத்த ஒரு கன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கேட்கும். But the moment there are no dots, it is going to do the action and keep things ready for you. So the moment I click insert, it is going to throw me something. The moment I click and say delete, it is not going to delete things. It's going to ask me for a confirmation. The moment I right click and say format cells, it is going to ask for something. So small thing, but it will help you to take decision that whether you should click that or not actually. So now we will go back to this data. Now we want to know the retention limit, whether it is exceeded or not. So can we fix a retention limit? We'll fix 12 lakhs. Okay. We'll assume that the retention limit for this particular branch is 12 lakhs throughout the year. Now I need to know which all cases it has exceeded 12 lakhs. I mean, which all days it has exceeded 12 lakhs, which all days it has not exceeded 12 lakhs. So is this using a very, very simple if function, and probably this if function is one of the most important function in Excel, especially for professionals. Most of the time, the if function is 80% வேலை முடிஞ்சிரும். So please ensure that you use this function very effectively, know all the parameters. Maximum of the time, it is with this function we will be able to achieve our intended thing. So can somebody help me with the if formula? Equal to if, open bracket. Excel will always give you a small help. You don't have to remember the syntax. So now if it is asking logical test, what is the logical test I need to apply? Which is less than which figure? B7. I should type or I can select. Both are correct actually. So I have selected here B7 is less than D3. Come on. Madam is interested in dollars. I don't know why. I'm interested in Indian money, not dollars. Less than or equal to. Okay, we can use less than equal to also. Equal to. Okay, fine. Equal to is also only if it exceeds it should only delimit. Okay. Equal to D3. Madam said dollar. I was about to tell that, but yes. How to put the dollar D $3 போடணும். அதை டைப் பண்ணுமா இல்ல வேற ஏதாவது வழி இருக்கா? F4. F4 is a toggle switch which works only when you keep it near the cursor. ஒன்னு இங்க வைக்கணும் இல்ல இந்த இடத்துல வைக்கணும் cursor. வச்சிட்டு F4 click பண்ணா all the 4 combinations will come. $D, $3, D $3, $D3 and D3. all the 4 have got different meanings. First is D3, which means the moment I take it to the next cell, it will become D4. The next cell will become D5 and so on. Here I don't want this 12 lakhs to get changed because that is a constant. So I give $D, $3. What if I click $D$3, which means நீங்க கீழ pull பண்ணும்போது அந்த இது மட்டும் மாறும், column மட்டும் மாறும், row மாறாது. Whereas $D3 will do the inverse of that. So you should know where to use what actually. In fact, one of the other Excel I have given that itself as an example, but நம்மளோட யூஸ்க்கு பெரும்பாலும் ஸ்டாட்டிக் தான் நிறைய தேவைப்படும். So in this case, I will fix $D, $3 by using F4 symbol, comma. Now value if true. So if it is going to be less, my cash balance is going to be less than, I'll say within double quotes, within limits. அப்படி இல்லைன்னா I will say 0. Or I can even leave it first blank and tell you. I will not give the other parameter. Click and then do a double click. Because I have not given the second parameter, it is giving us false. I don't want it to appear as false, so I'll give comma 0. So wherever it is within limits, it is given within limits. Wherever it is not within limits, it is given 0. Now one caution is I have particularly chosen 0 where I have used text in one place and number in another place. You should not do that actually. If you do that, when you are doing pivot later, you will have trouble. So never use a combination of text and number for your analysis. Either text கொடுத்தா அதுல text கொடுங்க, இதுல number கொடுத்தா அதுல number கொடுங்க. So now if you observe, the within limits has come as left aligned and 0 has come as right aligned. What does that indicate? All the text will be on the left aligned where they are going to be static. Where there are numbers, it is coming right. Suppose in the 0 left hand la vanduchina enna artham? Adu number illa text ah irukku artham. So narrate time the date analysis பண்ணும்போது automatically when you copy and it comes in, maybe I can always do it manually, that's a different thing. But you have to be careful that automatically varadhu enna, if it is on the left side, it is considered as text. To the right side is number or date or those things where you can do analysis with. So here I will change it to exceed limits. Now I'll do a double click. I have got the information of within limits and exceeding limits. Now what we will do, we will try to see how many days it has exceeded and how many days it has not exceeded. So within limits, how many days? Exceeds limits, how many days? So can somebody tell me how to get that result? Which formula or which function should I be using? Count if. So equal to count if open bracket. It is asking me for the range. What is the range I should select? C7 to எவ்வளவு இருக்குன்னு தெரியாது எனக்கு. எதுக்கு I should break my head? Shift control down arrow. Shift control down arrow will help me select the limit. Comma. What is the other parameter? Criteria. Within double quotes. F4. Correct. Here I should select F4 so that my data is not changing for the, but inga onnu dhaan sir panna porom thevai. Okay, adha eppadi manual and idu maathano. So this is forcing things in the future and taking care of it. Comma within double quotes. Okay, sir says irukku use pannunga sir, eduk type pandreenga nu solite I have typed within limits. Ratnagiri sir says, why you want to type, sir? Where I can select this E7 and close the bracket. I have got 209. Now only trouble is, idu rendume same ah irukkum. Ipdi kodutana 0 vandrum. So I have to be very careful in the parameter which you have used and also where you are using it here. So assuming I am exactly using the replica of it, no problem. And one advantage is this is not case sensitive. Idla na vandu small letters la kudukalam. It still work. It is not case sensitive. Now, if I know that I'm going to use this analysis most of the time, you don't have to give this particular range. I can give a name for this range. What I can do is I will select this. Probably I'll give a heading first. Shift control down arrow. B7 and the shift control down arrow. I've selected the entire range. Below the ribbon bar, there is an option here. It says name box. Can you see it here? I'm just moving my cursor. You can say analysis. And don't forget to give enter. How to go to the top? Shortcut for going to the top. Control home. Okay, my function is on, so it is taking me somewhere. Control home. Control home will take you to the, bring you to the top of the sheet. Control, correct. Control up arrow also will take you to the top. Correct. So now I will use the same thing to do it using this analysis. Equal to count if open bracket. Now range we selected the range. I don't have to select the range. I will just say analysis. It has come. You can see analysis comma E7 close bracket. Oh yeah, I got 0.
Yeah, analysis is already being dependent.
It's
not dependent. Limit analysis is one. Similar. See, the type analysis.
Okay, I've just typed. It is not got selected actually.
The name analysis is ultimately.
No, this sheet yes. I will just select shift control down arrow. Yes, it's not come. Analysis. Already I have predefined. Okay, analysis 1. Verify. Correct. I can say, sir says, the moment I type analysis 1, you can see that C range actually getting selected automatically. So I give enter. Both ways I've got the same result. Now I will try to copy this below to see whether it is working right or not. So GO, garbage in, garbage out. So to verify, I can put the total. What is the formula to check total? Alt equal to, it will select the range. I will just check whether it is. We will do one more analysis of finding the maximum and minimum cache, for which I will select the cache range. From B7 to shift control down arrow, I will say cache 1 because the previous sheet I've used cache, so we use cache 1. Now we'll say equal to minimum open bracket. The old method will be to select the range from B7 to this one and give F2. Okay, it has selected the range. It is automatically selected actually. So my minimum cache is 0. Probably I'll write the name so that it is easy for us. Minimum cache, maximum cache, say average cache just for us to know. So now maximum cache is equal to max open bracket cache 1, select it and close it. This is a maximum cache. Same thing for average. I've got the average cash, I've got the maximum cash, I've got the minimum cash. Now I'm interested in knowing when this maximum cash happened and when this minimum cash happened, for which we have to use the VLOOKUP function. So I'll say equal to VLOOKUP, open bracket. It's asking for the lookup value. Lookup value is F11. Whatever data is there in F11, that has to be looked into, comma. The table which you want to find. I will select the entire range. This is the table I want. And shift control down arrow and give F4, comma. Now it is asking for the column index number. VLOOKUP la, I have selected the table ABC. Like the cash find panni, result on the edu venum, in the date and venum. Now is it possible to do a VLOOKUP with this? Not possible. Why it is not possible? The first, if there are multiple things, it will only throw the first. So here we are more bothered about the uniqueness of things. So if in the particular data, what is the trouble I'm having? Pardon, sir? Exactly. No, one is leftmost column which I did a mistake intentionally. There is one more trouble. The result which I need should be on the other side actually. So what I will have to do for this, I'll have to insert, copy this. This is a traditional way of doing it. And I'll tell you how you can do it through XLOOKUP also. So now equal to VLOOKUP, open bracket. This is the lookup value, comma. Select this cell. All the four I will select. Give F4 so that my data is not getting changed, comma. Now column index number. There are four. Those I want this third cell column to be output to come actually, correct? So I will say comma 3, comma 0 because I want the exact match. Sorry, comma 3, comma 0. I got an error. I'll just minimize the screen. Somebody will have to tell me what exactly has gone wrong. This is a common VLOOKUP mistake which we all do, and then blame that VLOOKUP is a very, very tough function. Can somebody tell where I have gone wrong? Exactly. Chairman says rightly that when I look up for that value 52,52,000, that should be the first column which should have got selected. Whereas what I did, I have selected a date. 52 lakhs of the date is not going to get the desired result. So my selection is wrong. Instead of selecting A6 to D37, I will just change it to B6 to D371. Even now that takes care. Now my column value instead of 3 should be changed to 2 because I want the result from the second column. This will give me the result. Now it is in format which I want to convert it to date format. How do I do that? Manimegla madam says right click, format cells, perfect. Any other way? Control 1 is the shortcut which I want everybody to learn and use. Wherever you are using format cells, become a power user, use the shortcuts. See, the best way to learn shortcuts is, in fact, in one of the sheets I have given all the shortcuts also. Don't try to learn the shortcuts and apply. Whatever you are doing very frequently, know what is the shortcut for that. Any other way? Here in the ribbon tab, I can directly select the data also. So there are multiple ways of doing things. Whichever you are comfortable, you do it. But I will always advise you to go to format cells and select this format. In my office, we have been asked. I've been telling students to use only this format. Can somebody tell me what is the benefit of this particular format? Calculations are same. Exactly. We can confirm that it is 18 June. The date 1/4 can be 1st April or sometimes it can be 4th January also. Many a time we have seen that because of the US time and this thing. See, when you copy from some other system where you download some file from an email, from a mail which has come, your system settings or their system settings would be different. There will be US time which can create confusion in the dates. So ensure that you please use this format just to be safe that path. So now in this case, I've got the 18 June. I will just try to copy this on the top because the first date 0 is 1st April. I've got the first date. As Satish rightly pointed, there are so many dates. You're not bothered. Just I wanted to know that uniqueness that which date it is coming actually. See, suppose or date as okay, chairman says, sir, na vandadukku appuram இந்த date எனக்கு மாறிடுச்சு, what do I do? I'll give you one simple way which works 100% right. Suppose இது வேற formatல இருக்கு, you want to convert it to particular date format actually. You select the range, go to data, say text to columns. Don't type anything, just keep giving next, next. இந்த இடத்துல DM வைன் கொடுத்துருங்க. கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா this will get converted to proper date actually. So you try this technique wherever you feel things are not come in the proper format, you can do it. இல்ல சார் டேட்டே தப்பா தான் வந்திருக்கு, எனக்கு இப்ப மாத்தணும், அமெரிக்கன் ஃபார்மேட்ல தான் வந்திருக்கு, இதெல்லாம் பண்ணா கரெக்டா வருது, ஆனா எனக்கு மாத்தணும்னா there is one function known as text. Text open bracket, select the date and you can give the format you want and then that you put in the proper format. DD -mm -yy, whichever way you want. Particularly idile edo should I give within quotes? Yes. Computers will never do mistake, they'll do blunders only. And I don't know why it is right aligned, it should be left aligned only actually. Okay. Because I've made it as text, it has come in the right side now. Yes. In fact, there is one function was date to class, date value, yes. Okay, already it is date, so here this I think I'll have to do. What was the error here? You have to give text. Now I have to give date value. This will convert it into date actually. Now instead of writing two formulas, I can write one formula itself here. I will straight away put date value here. Date value, open bracket, and then close bracket in the end. So this is not required, and I can always change the format. So this is appearing as text, and this is appearing as number actually. In fact, in the example, I have kind of given a small monthly summary also. It is not required, but it's an exercise. Many a time where you want a deep in the but for you where you want to do analysis month wise, where you want to give some reporting, I have given this month wise also. But the month wise appear pandradhukku I have pulled the month. You have to pull the month from that particular date actually. Adha be pull pandrathu. In the date la irundhu, for you to do a VLOOKUP, you need to know the month. Date la irundhu month be pull pandrathu. Equal to month of அப்படின ஒரு function இருக்கு. But I've used it here. Yes, I've used it here. Month of அந்த இது கொடுத்தோம்னா எனக்கு month வந்துருச்சு. You can try it yourself. இந்த ஷீட்ல equal to month open bracket, select the date, double click, I got 4. சரி, இங்க டபுள் கிளிக் பண்ணும்போது ஒர்க் ஆகலையே. கொஞ்ச நேரம் முன்னாடி சொன்னோம், நம்ம செல்ல டபுள் கிளிக் பண்ணா எவ்வளவு டேட்டா இருக்கோ அவ்வளவு வந்துடும். பட் இந்த இடத்துல அது வரல. Can somebody tell me why? என்னங்க சார்? டில ஜீரோல கேப் இருக்கு. ரெண்டுக்கு வந்துருச்சு, அதுக்கப்புறம் வரல. இந்த கேப்னால வரலையா? ஓகே, சரி. இப்போ சுத்தமா வரல. So what does this mean? Either there must be some data on the left or right for the Excel to know till where I should travel. So if I delete this, or probably delete panna mele irukka data poidum, so I control X, control V. Now if I do double click, it will work because there is a data on the left. இந்த இடத்துல ரைட்ல இருந்தது, அந்த ரெண்டு டேட்டானால ரெண்டு வரைக்கும் ஸ்டாப் ஆயிடுச்சு. So you must always know when to use this double click, and if there is a gap, it will only stop with that. Ensure that all your data which you need to do it, you do. அந்த மாதிரி இல்ல மேனுவலா தான் நீங்க பண்ணி ஆகணும். கண்ட்ரோல் சி கண்ட்ரோல் வி பண்ணலாம், இல்ல மேனுவலா டிராக் பண்ணலாம் ஆக்சுவலி. So இப்போ இங்க வந்து I got the months 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and then I did the analysis here actually. So I have given this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 and given a counting formula. Analysis வச்சிட்டு இந்த ரேஞ்சில எவ்வளவு நாள் வந்து எக்ஸீட் ஆயிருக்கு, எத்தனை நாள் வந்து எக்ஸீட் ஆகுது சொல்லிட்டு. And then I give the total, which will give me the summary of how many days it has exceeded. So this breakup further if you want, of course, in the analysis க்கு தேவையில்லை. Just wanted to tell you that where you want to do it, you can further do it. But one more thing, can I find the day of this particular day, this date? I want to know 1st April is 21 is which day of the week, so that Saturday Sundays I can. Okay, one more doubt I have. In the analysis பண்ணும்போது Saturday Sundays ignore பண்ணுமா இல்ல அதை நான் ஏதாவது ரீவர்க் பண்ணுமா? For the analysis retention limit, should I exclude my Saturday Sundays holidays? Why sir it should be included? Yes, you are right, but reason why it should be included? Exactly. Even on a holiday, if the bank is maintaining cash beyond the limits, it's a risk for the bank, and the insurance coverage will kind of have to be reworked, otherwise they'll have trouble. So we don't have to remove the Saturday Sundays, but just for some other analysis you want to know whether this particular day எந்த டேல இருக்குன்னு தெரியுதுன்னு. Any function equal to weekday open bracket, select the date which you want and say close bracket, and then I double click, I'll get all the weeks. But என்ன ஆகுது, நம்பர்ஸ்ல வருது 5, 6, 7, 1 is Sunday. In fact, in India we have Sunday as the weekend, but actually it is the start of the week. Actually Sunday is the start of the week, but we always have the habit of calling it weekend. So இப்போ இது வந்து எனக்கு 5 na it should come as Thursday, 6 Saturday, 7 sorry 5 should be Thursday, 6 should be Friday, 7 should be Saturday. How do I make that happen? Again, text function. Okay, that's new to me, sir. Text, open bracket, select the date, comma, within double quotes, 4 times D. Okay, DD, correct. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Is it 3 times only, sir?
Sir. Okay, we'll make it 3 only, sir. It'll look cute. So here by using this weekday and text function, I've got it. One more way, what you can do is select this entire range and say Control 1, go to custom, change it to DDD, same thing. ஃபார்முலா எல்லாமே நேரா பேஸ்லயே மாத்திடலாம். ஓகே, it is all coming. Okay, monthly பண்ணிட்டேன் தெரியாம. I do it here. Control 1, go to custom, I'll give DDD. Okay, I got the result. But இங்க என்னன்னா டேட்டா அங்க 4 தான் இருக்கும். It will only appear as Thursday. So where you want to only select things, you can use this also. In fact, there's one more function you can do where you require, say the data is coming as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you want to replace that. Equal to choose function on it. Choose open bracket, select the range, and then you can set things. First vanda enna sollu, first vanda Sunday, second vanda Monday. Of course, for this you don't have to do it, but where you require 1 to be replaced by something, 2 to be replaced by something, 3 to be replaced by something, you can actually use this choose function also. So all these small functions, ungaloda need vechittu you will have to recall that there is some function and make use of it. So as I told you in the beginning, there is no one way of doing things. So here also I get my desired result. And all techniques are right. Control 1, custom, I select the general and say DDD. I got Thursday. I go there, add one more D, I get the full week stretched actually. Okay, now we'll go for any doubts in this. So here actually I've covered so many functions. If we look up minimum, maximum, count if, majority of these functions are got covered, and this will all be the basis for you to do the analysis. Please. X lookup, yes, I missed that part actually. We'll do X lookup here the same way, equal to X lookup, open bracket, select my data. Now I purposely select the entire range, give F4, comma. Sorry, I missed the lookup part. Lookup part should be this, comma. Second is my range. Third is the return array. Here you can give -1. It is not working. Sorry, X lookup. இல்ல சார், V lookupல வந்து என்னன்னா இந்த டேட்டா on the left வந்து வராது. Whereas X lookup will give you the benefit actually. And moreover, இன்னொரு V lookup என்னன்னா அந்த particular range நம்ம வந்து perfectly define பண்ணனும். இதுல வந்து நான் இண்டிவிஜுவலாவே செலக்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். To make it very simple, இந்த full table கூட நான் செலக்ட் பண்ண தேவையில்லை. வேண்டியதில்லை. So what I will do is I3, now it is asking for the lookup array. My lookup array is in இந்த B ல இருக்கு. B மட்டும் ஃபுல்லா செலக்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன். கமா. What is the answer you want? Answer as the date. இது வந்து லெஃப்ட்ல இருக்கலாம். சப்போஸ் இந்த C காலம் இல்லாம இருந்துச்சுன்னா கமா. ஆமா, I don't have to tell 0 or this thing. Just give enter. I've got the answer. What was looking very complicated in V lookup, X lookup வந்து அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சிம்பிள். அவ்வளவுதான். அதில் நான் ரேஞ்சை செலக்ட் பண்ணும், காலம் தேர்டு செகண்டு எதுவுமே தேவையில்லை. அந்த என்டையர் டேபிள்ல எது உங்களுக்கு எங்க பார்க்கணும், என்ன ரிசல்ட் வேணும் போதும். இப்போ இந்த லெஃப்ட் ரிசல்ட்டும் நம்ம கொடுத்தது இங்க. Whereas in VLOOKUP it is not possible. We have to copy it in the C column and give another date actually. It is called as a fuzzy logic matching actually. அதே வந்து எடுத்து வந்து புல் பண்ணிடுங்க actually. இல்ல 16ல இருந்து இருக்கு. 16 இருக்கா? 19ல இருந்து 16ல இல்ல, கரெக்ட். 19ல இருந்து இருக்கு. Shall I proceed? Okay. Next is verification of fixed asset. In fact, I have given a small table where beyond 50,000 we have verified, because it changes from bank to bank. Now again, it is not possible for us to do 100% checking, but see that the top values are being identified and they are kind of verified actually within that short period of audit which we do. And then you can record the items which you have verified actually. Then if you have come across any revenue leakage, of course, you don't have to do this as a separate exercise, but there are chances when we are doing analysis, we may find that there are some revenue leakages which has got revenues which have got missed. So those can be documented here actually. Then there is a deposit variance analysis which you have to do in LFAR. So that if you can get the balance sheet P&L itself in PDF or Excel, with that you can do analysis, or if there are going to be very small parameters, you can ask your assistant to type the figures for the current year and say particular 7th April and see whether there have been major movement of deposits actually. So in this case, you see there was a 22% variance which we did ask an explanation to the bank, and those things we got it through mail and got his reply also through mail, so that we are able to record his reasons also. Where it is not required, that it is all not much of variance, you can ask him orally, but where the variance is more, you please see that a mail is sent. In fact, one more thing I would like to tell you, bank audit பார்க்கும்போது உங்களுடைய requirements தயவு செஞ்சு day endல mail கேளுங்க, because many a time what happens when the zonal office or the circle office insists that why you have not completed, it will come handy for us to tell that these are the things we have been asking on daily basis and we have not got it. Even if things are going right, just have a habit of telling that these are the things we require for simple mail. It will always help us to take a stand tomorrow if things are going wrong, that see we have been doing our job properly and we have not got things, that is the reason for the delay actually. So kindly take care of that. So I don't foresee anything. Can you please elaborate? Sir, I'm not asking you to complain on daily basis. You send mails that we require these things. The 5th day, 6th day, problem, it will help you. I'm not asking you to complain from day one. We also assume that, see, our experiences, many of the managers are so comfortable that they give the information at the earliest possible time. There may be 1 or 2 people who would like to, play around and delay things actually. Sridhar sir was telling, MOC information. So all those things you have to deal it very, very carefully. Pardon, sir? See, end of the day, we want information, and how much, if you are not going to get information, we are not going to close the audit telling that this information is not what they have to do. So at least we record, we can tell that these are the things we have been asking on day-to-day basis. Mail portal, it will not look good also. That now we are trying to record things in one room. Have a habit of recording things then and then. For a day and muchone, so these are the things we have recorded today. Kindly keep these things ready by tomorrow. Let them delay. I've seen in few times and the reports have vandirukadu and the generate ayi vandirukadu. There may be delay of some time, and in few occasions we have seen the generated balance sheet has had some figures also wrong actually when we check with the counter check with the reports. So anamari case it is better we record those things, telling that these are the things which we need and we have not got it. And the requirements template vechirukanga sir, adha filter panni vechukonga, received yes no, edala no adha select panni அப்படியே mail அனுப்பிச்சு விட்டுறாங்க. You don't have to do that as a separate exercise. So same thing for variance of the income. This is the variance of the income between this year and the preceding year actually. So that you can do and see how much has got changed and why it has got changed. Pardon, sir? Sir, if in the interest expended, other expenditure, balance of profit, same thing last year, you automatic formula equal to D4 minus D12 by D12 base rate. Sir, either I generally get the balance sheet itself in Excel or in PDF, and then I just do a cut copy paste. But 3 figures you can get it typed also, whichever you are comfortable. See, for you tomorrow, you have to report everything in LFAR. How did you report in LFAR? We will say no major variance observed. That is a proof that there is no major variance. So, in the case, there was a major variance of 22%. Had I not gone into it, I would have simply given no major variance. Tomorrow, if there is some trouble in deposits, see, window dressing, they would have just got some deposits done. So it is always better you do a small analysis. There will be places where you will come up with some deviations actually. And then there is a requirement in LFAR for you to verify whether the proper interest is being working on SB and FD or not. In fact, I have given a small working sheet. We write the dates, we get the balance, we manually work to see whether that is tallying or not. In this case, 3 rupee was what the bank charge. We found it was 3.33. Okay. Point is ignorable, so we have kind of given the benefit. Same thing we have did a small working for FD also. And there were 3 rates which got changed, unfortunately, for this account. I always tell my people to take a small account, but they picked a wrong account and there were so many transactions. So I just recorded the transaction in Excel first, or you can even get this statement itself in Excel. Monitor, you can put the interest rate manually to see whether the system is calculating it right or not. Because we have to report in LFAR and whatever interest rate is being figured is calculated also correctly. And same way you can verify, of course, apart from deposits, you can verify the advances, whatever things have been done, or what are the watch accounts we have verified, what are the inoperative accounts we have verified. See, we cannot do 100% checking, but at least over area, few samples, based on these samples, we found that the bank is doing its job properly. And very important thing, whenever we are doing the audit, many a time we will tell our people to do things and we will miss out on things. So you can say, what are the things pending from the bank? Say balance sheet. On day 1, we will not be getting it. Ama sir, and kudukalana idu namakku or tracking ka indide. Or tracking sheet magi. Correct. Sir, 99% trouble varadu. Tomorrow for that LFAR point, you need to check. You have evidence. Only a statement kuda vachittu appo kuda check panikalam. But my suggestion is then and there do it. So in the case la pathina, when I checked, I didn't get the rate properly. Only when I inquired, they told sir there are 3 rates. They gave the information that this FD rate has undergone a change. One sample account, sir, that's all. Random account you take. Not that you have to take space. You tell the manager, sir, you will pick exactly the available data. Yes. Yes. Sir, you can do that also, but only end account check or evidence. Exactly. And we are having it, we'll be having it on record. Only thing is, in the account, we found it correct actually. And this is a small, sorry. So this small sheet of control as to what are things pending from whose side. Say I've asked him to. Sir, we have to ask, sir. They will not give you anything. Generally, sir, in this sir, all reports will give you only data analysis we have to do. Nowhere, only thing which is available in the bank is the exception report, which they are having it for their own internal control, which will help you to give some idea. Otherwise, all reports are only available. It is only for us to kind of do analysis as to where things have gone wrong, or where things could have possibly gone wrong. Not necessarily things go wrong. And for you to pull the reports in the particular link which are given, I share all the comments also wherever possible. And as an auditor, when you go, please insist on the login credentials, login and password. View rates, few reports may not come from your login. that you please ask the manager to generate and send a mail. And insist on sending a mail of those reports. நாளைக்கு அந்த ரிப்போர்ட் தப்பா இருந்தா கூட அந்த மெயில்ல இருந்து வந்துச்சுன்னா you can tell that I relied on this mail which I have got. But I கண்ண மூடிட்டு நம்ப கூடாது, அந்த டோட்டலும் ஜிஎல்லையும் டேலி ஆகும். So you need to exercise your own professional skepticism. But try to see that you get a mail on the pen drive, like most of the banks don't entertain pen drive. So you tell that, sir, you need to send a mail to me for recording that. So second is this management representation, which you can keep preparing then and there. Bank will say, sir, this is, we don't have any communication. நிறைய வாட்டி இன்சூரன்ஸ்க்கே சர்க்குலர் இருக்காது. இந்த ரிட்டென்ஷன் லிமிட்ல இன்சூரன்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு பாயிண்ட் இருக்கும். சர்க்குலர் இருக்காது. சார், we know this is the limit. You write as informed by the branch management, the insurance limit is so and so, for which no evidence is available. You know, we need to close the report on time. We cannot keep on dragging, but insist பண்ணுங்க whether head office or circle office can give you the things, and in some cases they were able to retrieve and give us also. Like in one of the banks, I remember cash only, sir. Cash and other things, wherever those points are there. என்னென்ன திங்ஸ் இருக்கோ நீங்க இதுல ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா நாளைக்கு we can tell that even if we are wrong, we are based on these things we have taken our call. Yes. Yes. And இப்போ இந்த இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா I have given a small indication that HO circular so and so body இவ்வளவு limit இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி they have given the certificate. So for us, that on what basis we have given our reporting. இப்போ இதுல வந்து insurance is on total whole bank, they have a common policy. Now we don't know how much is attributed to this branch. That is not our headache now. We will tell as per the LFR, this is the retention limit, these many days it is exceeded, these many days has come down.
So, if the insurance is covering the upper limit, that particular day the liability happens. Correct.
So that is what our job is, to report, telling that, yes, sir.
On what basis they are at the maximum limit? They have taken care of buyers. They are convinced me that they are having the maximum because 20% they add. So before release they are certificate. In that case, very rare chance the upper limit to exceed that.
Correct. So this MR part you can prepare then and there. In fact, few banks have a policy of not issuing management representation. I don't know to name a bank, but there are some banks who in their letter of appointment tell that you the branch management will not give you MR. In that case, we have made a note in LFR telling that our audit is being based on this management representation, which we could not get from the branch because of the terms of appointment, which we request the central statutory to note it on behalf of us. Because tomorrow end of the day, we have to rely on what the manager says. For everything, we cannot insist on things. So those things you please make a note. MR வாங்குங்க. If the bank is not able to give, you just tell that put it in the face of LFR itself, the last point in either points actually. Okay.
Many of them are
correct.
Though the bank has tied up with some of the insurance companies are given that they automatically increase the limit without increasing the
insurance limit. Correct.
So something goes wrong like fire or flood, then the bank will be so.
So now, as sir, this point, whatever you says, these things you can capture in the Excel sheet then and there so that it doesn't get missed out. In fact, in our office we do this. Whenever one mistake happens, is committed by one article, we make a note and share it with everybody so that that doesn't get repeated by other persons. Why we should go? Our sir's experience on Nirikana, immediately put it in your format. This what I've given is very, very elementary. You can keep adding it as and when you find something new actually. So that the person who is coming new, he knows that when I'm checking advances, when I'm checking the limits increase, I need to link it with the insurance also. So same way where we need to identify the large advances. LFR now, they have defined the large advances that it is outstanding like a 10% or 10 crore, whichever is less. Now for this also, please use scientifically, get those relevant files your loan balancing file will get all the loans. ODCC file தனியா இருக்கும், loan ஃபைலோட சேர்ந்து இருக்காது. அதோட நான் கேஷ் லிமிட்ஸ் தனியா ஒரு ஃபைல் வரும். இந்த மூணு லிமிட்ஸ் எடுத்து டோட்டல் பண்ணிட்டு you have to do a analysis to exactly find which are the loans you have to check the advances for. LFR பாத்தீங்கன்னா there is one point telling that you have to relay your opinion on the large advances. So for which kindly get the data, use the formula to arrive which of the loan you have to actually verify. Now I'll just try to do a small analysis of this. In fact, the cash balance or file irukku, which if it is available, இந்த இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா the minus, somebody was asking sir எப்படி minus வரும். இந்த particular file ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா cash balance minus ல இருக்கு. So I will skip this file, which it is for you to import it to Excel and work on this cash balance, which I particularly gave you ready-made for our workings. Now I will try to use this. In fact, இது எடுத்து காமிச்சிரு எப்படி work out ஆகுதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. I will just copy this entire data to Excel and say Control V. Luckily, automatically things have come in the right way. Only thing is I need to filter these rows to remove the unwanted lines so that I arrive at all the data. And minus a plus, we showed 2-3 ways which you can do it. But every time you might not get this easy. Now this is a loan balancing file. I will copy it. It has come like this. Everything is in one particular cell. Now I need to structure it properly so that I can do the analysis. How to do that? There are simple 5-6 steps involved. If you do that correctly, you will get it right, and do it slowly. Spend reasonable time in this so that you don't have to kind of rework and waste time on it. So I'll select the entire row, go to data, select text to columns. I will say fixed with, because there is no particular delimiter, and I will say next. Now I'm getting a small indication as to where the data is. So it has got the serial number. If I click, it will give me an arrow here. Then old account number, new account number. Then here there is a customer code, which is a custody and the name. And there is a separator by slash. So I'll select this and select this, so that my custody is coming separately and my name is also coming separately. And then there is a date columns in 2 places, which I will select, and then the rate of interest I will select. Generally, on the last idhula neenga potingnale correct ah vandrum. And then there is outstanding liability. So I'll just say finish. Now all my data has got split, and let me see whether I've got it right or not. See here, you can see. Can you see the issue? 397th row, my 11.25 has got split wrongly because somewhere that data was not exactly in the same line. So I have to redo the exercise. Because you will have trouble because it will be very difficult for you to find. So roti casual or scroll whether things are right or not actually. And probably some additional indication here also will give you a thing that things are not right actually. So I'll give Control Z to undo things. Redo this exercise, data, text to columns, fixed with next. And where I've given wrongly, I can double click and remove that line also. So now rate of interest, I knew that there was a problem with 2 lines. So to play safe, I will leave 2 spaces and then click this and then give liability and say finish. So now let me see if things are fine or not. So things are looking correct. I will now start sanitizing the data by removing unwanted items. The first and foremost thing is remove the ones which are not recorded on the top, except the header which you want for the complete analysis. So I'll remove this. Maybe you can return it also, but my suggestion to avoid confusion of workings, you please have that top row what is required as the final header which you want. Now I should remove the unwanted rows. How do I remove it? I have to use filter to remove it. But filter use பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன எனக்கு எல்லா data select ஆகணும். How do I select the entire data? Shift control down arrow use பண்ணது work out ஆகாது. Control shift end. So what does control shift end does? உங்க டேட்டா எது வரைக்கும் இருக்கோ அது எல்லாமே செலக்ட் ஆகும் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா. You don't have to do it manually. சரி சார் வேற ஏதாவது வே இருக்கா? Many times where you are not very sure of where the data is or there are some cuts, நீங்க கீழ இருந்து மேல கண்ட்ரோல் வச்சு கூட செலக்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Shift control up arrow. So in case once we are very sure that the entire data is selected, I can apply filter. How to apply filter? Using the tab, and there is a shortcut. It is automatically throwing Control Shift L. In fact, I use the older one, Alt D F F. Alt D F F is the one shortcut for 2007 onwards, which we have been using it. Choice is yours, whichever you want to use. Now, if I select the range, it will give me the other things also which is there, as well as the data which I need. So what I can select is only either the தேவையில்லையோ அதை deselect பண்ணி delete பண்ணிக்கலாம் உள்ள. Or simpler thing we will do, I will just say, since it has got a serial number, இது எனக்கு date எது வந்துருச்சு. I will have to now convert it into number then. And remove the decimals. So I've got what I wanted. Don't be worried about suddenly something coming. So now I will filter and say smallest to largest. It's a simple way to do. Of course, you can do it manually by removing one also. There are hash symbol. I have to see whether things are right or not. So this is fine. So now you will see all the unnecessary items I've got. Here I can remove it very easily. Now ஒவ்வொன்னா அதுல போய் பண்றதுக்கு sort பண்ணி இந்த கேஸ்ல serial number இருந்தாலும் ஈஸியா இருந்துச்சு. If there is no serial number, you cannot do what I'm doing it now. So I'll remove all these things which I don't want. I don't want DP code, I don't want report code, I don't want bank name, I don't want page numbers, I don't want. Yes, but I'm particularly seeing whether I need any information. You can use shift control end and delete things, but for me to analyze whether I'm missing anything. Do I want the product code details? No. Total da irukku. Total I can manually do it for my own things. Now this I'm interested. From this 1900 row, it is giving me the summary of the loan type and the loan product name also. This I'm interested, so I'll keep this, right click and delete so that those rows get deleted. And idu mudichadukku appuram I will delete the unnecessary things also. Shift Down arrow, just doing the analysis. Yes, it's getting over. So now these I'm interested, which I will copy it in a new cell. Control X. Get a new sheet. Control V. So either I'm not requiring these things, so I will delete. Product name I don't want because I'm going to copy it. You'll observe பண்ணீங்கன்னா ரெண்டு இடத்துல சரியா வரல நேம்னு வருது என்னன்னு if you observe carefully because there was a hyphen which was there in that the system has assumed it is minus and then you have given text. So to remove this what you can do is either remove the hyphen or give apostrophe and hyphen whichever way you want. So in one place I will remove the things hyphen and in one place I will just remove the hyphen. I got it. Now what I should be doing is I should be making this as one cell. B, C and D, I want the and E. I want the result in one cell. How do I do that? Equal to ampersand symbol. So equal to B2 and B3, sorry, C2 and D2 and E2. I have got the double click won't work because there is no data on the left or on the right. So I've got the name. Is there any other way I can do it? Equal to concatenate. Old function. I can do it using concatenate also. Any other way? There's one more function which has come as text join. You can try that also, which is very easy. Anyway, we will not touch that because concat equal to CONCAT. Okay, that is a condensed name for concat. Okay, I have not known this. Concat open bracket, select the range. Huh? Okay. Fine, this is a new function I have learned, sir. Thank you. So simpler is concat actually because you don't have to manually select things. Now, if I delete this, what will happen? My entire thing will go. So what I should do? Select Control C or I'll ignore the other two. Control C, right click, paste special values. I'm not bothered about this. What is 1, 2, 3, sir? How do I do that? Okay, Control C, right click. This one. Okay, directly the symbol is there. In fact, there is a shortcut also. There are certain things I am also used to work the routine way. I am not able to come back to the keyboard thing. But the idea is to please change it and use the keyboard shortcuts actually. So now I'll remove these things. Now here I need the product code separately. And I T number. How do I get the product code separately? 603. What is it? Flash fill. Okay. Where? Flash fill 603 type pannite. And then data this one. Anyway, that it works most of the time. Where in a way out? How to get this 603 from this particular cell? Right. Okay, right function. Ratnagiri sir is telling any other way? Crude way the text to columns. Text to column vache fixed panna, delimit panna, delimit colon kodinga vandrum. But the best way to use is formula. Right open bracket, select this cell, comma, how many characters you need? 3 characters from the right end. So double click, I got it. Control C, right click, Pay special values. Okay, I'll start learning that 1, 2, 3 after some time, sir. Pardon? Ha. You tell me as Control C, right click. Yes, V. That's all. So SV, I'll next time remember it. Something which we use very regularly. So I'll delete this. So now I know that this particular product code, this is the product name actually. Now coming back to this loan summary sheet, I will remove the unnecessary columns. I don't want old account number because there are no old account numbers. I'll delete. The new numbers, 12 digits, you will have all this problem with the numbers. Convert it to general. General. Sorry, number. Number remove zeros or text. Text actually. So number and remove the decimals. So I got the new account number. Here customer code, I don't want the decimals. I will select and remove the decimals. Number and then remove the decimals. I don't want this slash. I want the customer name, account opening date, rate of interest, and the liability. So I've got the entire data now. Now for me, I am interested, it has all come in one file. I don't know which product it belongs to now. Now I should have either taken the product total, but product total may be difficult for me to do the analysis. Now how to get the product code from the loan file? Exactly, perfect. So you have to do a small analysis. Every bank will have this unique thing that first will be the branch ID, and then there will be the product, and then the account number actually. So here I'm interested in taking the 5th, 6th, and 7th digit, which will give me the product code. How to pull that? Left to right work, mid will work. Mid, open bracket, select the text, comma, start number. Which is the start number? 5. Comma. How many number of characters I need? 3. Close bracket. So I've got the product code. So Control C, right click. Yes, V. I got it right, Satish. Now with this, we can actually easily do a pivot as to எத்தனை accounts இருக்கு, எவ்வளவு value இருக்கு, liability இருக்கு, which will help us to create our samples or know which area we have to see. So now I'll open one more sheet. Of course, you don't have to open a sheet. Sheet மட்டும் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கிறேன். We'll do a pivot now. So select the entire range, shift control down arrow, and say insert pivot from table or range. The table is already selected. We'll say new worksheet or existing worksheet. Since I've selected one sheet, I can say existing, or I can straight away say new worksheet. Okay. There is a small error which has come. Can somebody guess where I have did a wrong thing? One of the common mistakes which we do before C, exactly, C1 is blank. The moment there is no header, pivot will not work. So I will go back and say, or only code to be very, very shorter as possible. Now I'll redo the exercise. Shift control down arrow, insert pivot table. The loan summary is selected. I will say new worksheet. Okay. Now the pivot is ready for me. So now I want the analysis product wise. So I will select the code. It's given the complete code summary. And then I'm interested in knowing how many accounts are there. I will select the code and put it in values. Yes, automatically given me the count. Now what is it I want? I want to know in that particular code how many, what is the liability of, or what is the total sum of that particular loans or the exposure. So I select the liability and put it under values. I want the sum of liability also. Now I can put a VLOOKUP and tell what 010 indicates, what 603 indicates, and I can know where the exposure is also. Now, if I want to know that there is one particular big value in this, only two accounts are there. If I just double click the separate sheet, the loan account will come. Now I will tell that this will be taken care by Ramesh. This also will be taken care by Ramesh. So these will be my evidences or samples that what we are going to verify. Random this will help you to create evidence and also know what exactly you are doing. Still accounts like I can say the accounts which have got the maximum. Say there are 1,428 accounts. I click this, it has thrown me all the 1,428 accounts. I can filter it based on the liability and tell that these higher ones I need to verify, or I can even verify the ones which are done during the year. So for you to pick samples, நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம்ன்றது இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அனாலிசிஸ் பண்ணாதான் it will help us to do the audit very, very correct. So the data is available, resource is available. We have to just spend some initial time for us to take the data and do things. Panitomna, it will be easy for us. And whenever you are doing this, one small word of caution is, please ensure that whatever you have did, the entire data is getting selected or not. For example, in total in the sum of liability will varudhu, check with the main file whether that is tallying or not. If it is not tallying, we have missed something. So take care of that part actually. Sir, it will always come account number wise only. Account number wise தான் வரும் எப்பவுமே. நீங்க report எடுத்தீங்கன்னா if the option is available for you to do fine, but அவங்க இந்த மாதிரி கொடுத்துட்டாங்க இல்ல வரலன்னா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? நிறைய இடத்துல சார் அதான் எல்லா ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ்ல அந்த மாதிரி பண்ண முடியாதுங்க சார். ஆக்சுவலி லோன் பேலன்சிங்ல பண்ணலாம். எஸ் எஸ் கரெக்ட் கரெக்ட். அதான் சார் நீங்க கேட்டகரி வைஸ் டாப் எடுப்பீங்க, இங்க வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஃபுல் இதுல கிடைச்சிரும் ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ இட் வில் பி ஈஸி ஃபார் யூ. அந்த 10 crore கிரைட்டீரியா லார்ஜ் அட்வான்சஸ்ல எக்ஸீடிங் அந்த லிமிட் என்ன இருக்கோ, இப்போ எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ இந்த அட்வான்சஸ் இதுல one I can sort it, or I can say filter by greater than. So only these accounts now more than 10 lakhs. 10. So these accounts are my major 10 accounts which I have to verify. So this is across categories. So instead of going through the liability file, you can do the analysis I want, because I told you certain places you will have to use the account data also. It is not enough you just verify the top 10 accounts and miss the loan sanction during the year. So for all the things, for separate things what you require, you can use this file actually. And then for you to find the quick mortality, suppose in the yearly loan kurthu NPA aichana you 25. So for that you get the NPA report which will contain all the dates, and the date you can put a VLOOKUP, or put a date difference as to less than 365 days. Those are all quick mortality accounts which have to be reported separately in LFAR. So it is just not that. There are so many things which you can do it in LFAR. The idea behind this session is only to strengthen the concept for which you can use. In fact, I have one more file which I thought I'll be able to cover, but I think we have completely run out of time. I would not like to get into that. Maybe if you feel one or two areas which we should cover, we can do it actually. In fact, I've given the if function separately. The absolute relative mixed I've given one particular sheet for VLOOKUP. And there is one interesting function which we should all know is date difference. So, for two dates, date difference is find pannalam. Generally, sir, equal to this minus this date difference. For example, I want to type today's date. One way is I can type 26th March 22. Where the way out irukka? Equal to today, open bracket, close bracket. Rendu enna sir vyathyasam? நான் நாளைக்கு ஃபைல் ஓபன் பண்ணும்போது இந்த டேட் மாறிடும், ஆனா இந்த டேட் கான்ஸ்டன்டா இருக்கும். So you should be very careful where you want dynamic, where you want static. So for interest calculation, please don't use dynamic, use static only. And more particular date or cut off வச்சு பண்ணிப்போம். So now if I need to find the difference between the dates, I will say equal to this minus this. The only thing I can get in date. But by using the date difference, you can get the difference in years, difference in year months, days already one through, year days, year months, month days, மூணுமே வந்துரும். I'll give you a small example. Equal to date difference, DATE, DIF, open bracket. I told you in the beginning that எல்லா Excel function you will get a small help. இந்த function கூட the help இல்லையே சார். நீங்க if போட்டீங்கன்னா ஒரு சின்ன syntax வரும். இந்த function கூட இந்த syntax இல்ல. Any guess why? You can only guess because for you to know, you should really know why it has not been given a syntax. இருக்கட்டுமே, எல்லாத்துக்கும் syntax வரும்போது இதுக்கு மட்டும் ஏன் வரல? இல்லையே, கண்டிஷன் இல்லைனாலும் அதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் வருது. இப்போ ஏபிஎஸ் பார்த்தோம், ஒண்ணுதான் இருக்கு, அதுக்கும் சொல்லிச்சுல டெக்ஸ்ட் சொல்லிட்டேன். பட் ஏன் இதுக்கு மட்டும் வரல? It is a formula, it is a function. That is why it is giving the same desired result. The only trouble with this function is when it was tested, it has thrown some errors in different systems. ரெண்டு சிஸ்டத்துல ரெண்டு மாதிரி ரிசல்ட் வந்திருக்கு. So it is still under beta stage. They have not given the complete authenticity or validation of this function. So there may be possibility. In fact, in our session liye orthar the different result vanduchu. Due to some system settings, there is a different result which it is throwing. So the syntax for this is actually begin date, comma, close date, which you have to know it manually only. Comma. I should give within double quotes y, or I can select this also, it will work. No, it is not working. So I have to give within double quotes y. So between these two dates is 74 years. So I'll copy this. Instead of y, I will say m. So in the ரெண்டு dates எவ்வளவு months elapsed ஆயிருக்குன்னு வந்திருது. Now I will just say d, which is anyway the normal formula which you have got. And now I want it in year days, which means the days between the dates as if they were in the same year. It will ignore the year and tell how many days there is a difference. So I will say yd. Same way for year months, ym. And then same way for like this for md, which means it will ignore the month and tell me how many days are there. So now where you want the exact years, months and days, you can use this formula to give you the results. So I can now tell India is 74 years, 7 months and 11 days old. Probably I will change it to young actually. இதை நீங்க ஒரே ஃபார்முலால கூட கொடுக்கலாம். Say equal to this and within double quotes years and within double quotes space, sorry, and months, and this, and to make it in Tamil I'll say Natkal. So it is 74 years, 7 months, 11 days. If I need a space here, I can double click the years pinadi or space கொடுத்துடலாம், or comma கொடுத்துடலாம், comma space. So உங்க ரிசல்ட்ல எக்ஸாக்ட் ஒரு இது வேணும்னாலும் it is easy for you to use this function and do it actually. So I know it is now 74 years, 7 months, 11 days. Pardon sir? Okay. Control 1. Okay. YY
Space.
space
Double quote, yes.
double quotes
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
years. Okay.
Double quote, that.
Space. Okay. MM. Okay. Without space. MM. Within double quotes months. DD. Double quotes days. Now you can see the difference. இதுல வந்து இந்த எக்ஸாக்ட் டேஸ் இது பண்ணாலும் 8 months எடுக்குது. இங்க வந்து இண்டிவிஜுவலா நம்ம எடுத்ததுனால வேற டேட் வருது. அதான் இது வந்து எக்ஸாக்ட் அப்சல்யூட் டேட் டிஃபரன்ஸ் எடுத்ததுனால அந்த பாயிண்ட்டை வந்து பிளஸ் எடுத்துக்கிறோம் ஃபுல் மந்தா. இங்க வந்து பிரிச்சு விட்டுரும் ஆக்சுவலி.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Because the number of days வந்து detail எடுக்கணுமா எடுக்கக்கூடாது நிறைய problem.
ஸோ இப்போ இந்த டேட் டிஃபரன்ட் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆத்தரைஸ் பண்ணாத காரணமே இந்த இதுதான். வேர் யூ வில் கெட் டிஃபரெண்ட் ரிசல்ட்ஸ். தென் கண்டிஷனல் ஃபார்மேட்டிங் which you all know. One interesting thing I would like to tell you. So in the mari narivati we have seen that when we take printout like this, where we spread over a lot of data, it is difficult for you to track that in the line la irukundra the last item varumbodhu. In fact, andha kaalathula they have a computer sheet which will have automatic lines pre-printed, so that whenever a printout comes, you know how to track actually. So this you can also do it in Excel. You just copy this formula which I have given. Don't do more analysis why it has come. Select the range which you want. Go to conditional formatting and say new rule and say use a formula to determine which cells to format. You say equal to and copy this formula. And then say format. Format la poi fill select பண்ணிட்டு say I want gray shade. I'll say okay. I'll say okay. Now you will see that every alternate row is shaded with gray. ஆமா டேபிள போட்டாலும் வந்துரும். Yes, but இது வந்து permanent. இது என்னன்னா it is dynamic again. If I click, this will automatically get dynamic to change. So இது permanent வச்சுக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா எந்த டேட்டா இது பண்ணாலும் it will be helpful. Printல light gray கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த light tint வரும், so that it will be easy for you to track actually. Left, right, mid we have covered. Pivot we have covered. Security I have not covered today. We'll have. In fact, I have given a small function which will help you to find whether the pan is valid or not. Pan number correct ஆனலாம் சொல்லாது, அந்த alphanumeric codings correct இருக்கான்னு வந்து will tell you the result. I have given a small function to see which is the second Saturday and the fourth Saturday. These are the new utilities which have come. Text join, all enter நம்ம cover பண்ணிட்டோம். How to restrict duplicates, you can use this counting function and see. இது வந்து data validation கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா this will help you to find an error. For example, invoice I'm typing 1011, will say duplicate invoice number. இது எப்படி பண்றதுன்னா go to data, data validation, அதுல you give this function. And the range select பண்ணிட்டு equal to 1 கொடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா you can give a error message telling duplicate invoice number. So the moment you type a wrong number, it won't accept it. But you give a new number, it will accept. So a lot of controls you can use when you want to validate the data then and there. Then in fact, Excel has got new functions known as unique, sort, sequence. For want of time not covering, but please explore these functions. ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா சொல்ல போனா இவ்வளவு டேட்டாஸ் இருக்கு, you want to know the unique items. Equal to unique open bracket, I will select this item and close bracket. இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லா unique items இங்க வந்துருச்சு. Okay, I will select from D2. I've got all the unique items. Now this I want to sort in alphabet order. Equal to sort open bracket, select the range. I've got sorted in alphabet order. In fact, the example which we saw, the loan summary, this is available only in MS 365. The idea is to tell you that there are newer functions available which will make your life easier. This costs only 6,000 rupees per annum. At least in your system as a chartered accountant, you must go for MS 365 because you will be able to do a lot of things with ease. And this comes with the 1 TB data storage also for 6 people. So you actually get 6 TB free storage. So equal to unique open bracket, select the range. I don't know why it is selected all. Close bracket. So I've got all the unique items. Sorry, 603 7 loans இருந்துச்சுல டூப்ளிகேட்ஸ் எல்லாம் ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டு இது இவ்வளவுதான் உங்களோட இது இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சிடும். நாட் இன்கன்சிஸ்டன்ட் சார். அந்த டேட்டால ஒரு இது மட்டும் இப்போ இந்த 603 இருக்குன்னா 603 ஒரு வாட்டி வந்துடும். ஸோ உங்களுக்கு இப்போ எத்தனை லோன் டைப்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சிடும். நான் பிவட் வச்சு பண்ணது இதுல ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரோக்ல வந்துருச்சு எனக்கு டேட்டா. இது see I did through pivot and showed you this. Sorry, that has got deleted. இங்க இருக்கு. இப்போ இந்த ஐட்டம்ஸ் இங்க வந்துச்சுல சார். These 24 items, it has come here in one stroke actually. And tomorrow if you change it here, say I bring new category 804, automatically dynamic மாறிடும். Then there is something known as sequence. I'll say equal to sequence open bracket. Say I want 100 numbers. I'll just say 100 close. Automatic 100 numbers வந்துரும். Or I want 4 rows and 5 columns. Equal to sequence open bracket 4 comma 5 close bracket. I've got 4 rows and 5 columns. Okay sir, 1 2 3 4 5 தான் வருமா? கிடையாது. I will say equal to sequence open bracket 4 rows comma say 2 columns. I want the 8 number to be starting with 8 and then increase with the sequence of 5 close. I got 4 rows 2 columns and there is a increase of 5 numbers. Illa sorry 8 vena, can I make it 10? 10, yes. I want say 5 columns. You get in 5 columns. So all the time where you would have spent a lot of time in doing it, it helps you to give the answer easily. Next lookup we already covered. Like in the equal to X lookup open bracket. This is my lookup value, comma. What is a lookup array? It should look in this range. F4, comma. I want the abbreviation of that code. That's all. Close bracket. It will say NG. Same thing. I can copy this. Instead of C, I will say D. I've got the code. In fact, I've given data validation. If I change the country, automatic data keeps getting changed actually. So yes, X lookup is the next version where you don't have to remember the complicated way of selecting the entire table array and getting confused. You can just select what you look that particular column and then what is the result you want actually. And then I've given the shortcuts also which you can learn for the ones which you use very regularly. Like in my office for the task I use Control 5. Control 5 and now strike iron actually. Control 5. And where is already struck off, if I give Control 5, it will undo the things. So likewise, any command which you use very frequently, please learn the shortcuts. It will help you to increase your productivity also. And then one more small thing which you can do is நாம நிறைய வாட்டி என்ன பண்றோம்னா எக்ஸல் ஃபைல வர்க் பண்றோம் ஆனா அதுக்கு ரெண்டு PDF ஃபைல் ரெஃபர் பண்ணிருப்போம் ஆனா அது ஒரு பர்టిక్యులர் பீரியடுக்கு அப்புறம் அந்த PDF ஃபைல் எங்க இருக்குன்னு கிடைக்காது நமக்கு so actually you can embed a PDF file in the Excel itself so like here I have embedded one file if I double click I'll be able to get that file which I have attached இது வந்து அந்த Excel ஃபைல்லே இருக்கும் actually how to do that go to insert the insert there is an option known as text you click that there is one last item known as object in the object you select which you want whether you want a PDF file whether you want a Word file or you want another Excel file அதை select பண்ணிட்டு okay கொடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா in fact இதுல ஒரு ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கு displays icon அதை click பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா it will ask for that Excel file the PDF file I don't know why it is taking so much time. How many of you have used Excel in Word, MS Word? Use பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? Wordல நம்ம நிறைய ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் வேர்ட்ல தான் ரெடி பண்றோம் எல்லாம் ஃபேர்லாம் we don't do everything in Excel கம்ஃபர்ட்டபிளா பண்றோம் பட் திடீர்னு அதுல வந்து சில கால்குலேஷன்ஸ் தேவைப்படுது எக்ஸலோட கால்குலேஷன்ஸ் வேர்ட்ல தேவைப்படுது நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம் அங்க வர்க் பண்ணிட்டு கண்ட்ரோல் சி கண்ட்ரோல் வி பண்ணுவோம் பட் யூ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் டு ஆக்சுவலி டூ தட் ஐ டோன்ட் நோ சம் இட்ஸ் டேக்கிங் சம் டைம் ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வை say you are doing some analysis and suddenly you want some Excel calculation to be done. So what you can do is go to insert object and select Microsoft Excel worksheet. இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா actually Excel உள்ள வந்துருச்சு now you can say 56 I think that particular previous action is stopping me okay it has stopped so now I'll go to Word so 567 I want to make this sum that's all into IOB. You insert object on the text object and the object you tell Microsoft Excel. So for small things you don't have to go to Excel, work and come back. In the file save I don't have to of course it is only for small things. You cannot do major calculations. But ஏதாவது ஒரு சின்ன இது தேவைனா நீங்க லிட்டரலா எக்ஸலுக்கு போயிட்டு இங்க வரணும்ன்ற கட்டாயம் கிடையாது. You can start this, use this tool also. Got it? Object, last one. Object. Click that. In that you select Microsoft Excel. Select worksheet. Okay. This will give you that Excel. In fact, I've just given a brief of what are the small areas where you can use Excel. The 6 parts is what we have covered today, and other things you can do it yourself, like for checking the interest rates variation. Or a loan type lab, you can get a file where they'll give you the interest range to use during the year. All variance will give us an indication that whether they have fed anything wrongly. See, end of the day, the interest feeding happens manually. Though it is done by CBS, the branch does it at their end. So those things you can verify. Sanction limit authority when the exit high அதுக்கு ப்ராப்பர் பர்மிஷன்ஸ் வாங்கியிருக்காங்களா பார்க்கலாம். ஒரே கஸ்டடி லெவல் அக்கௌண்ட் நம்பர்ஸ் இருக்குன்றது we can verify using Excel. Where one account is NPA, all accounts is NPA, through custody you can do that. Where when we are doing the analysis, if one particular customer is using multiple facilities, with that custody you can see all the loans and you can do a see ஒரு account மட்டும் verify பண்ணா பத்தாது. For that particular customer we have to verify other loans also. So that is helpful if you do the analysis of the custody. அதை வச்சு பண்ணிக்கலாம். Jewel loans, I think the interest subvention is available only up to 3 lakhs. அதுக்கு மேல கிடையாது. அதே ஏதாவது எக்ஸீட் ஆயிக்கான்றது பார்த்துக்கலாம். Valuation for NPA accounts they have to do once in 3 years. So you can pull down the NPA file and the valuation date and you can see whether anything they have missed. Generally banks miss. Once in 3 years படத்துல மிஸ் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. So that you can do it through Excel and give a report in NFIR. Your SMA accounts நிறைய வாட்டி என்ன பண்றோம்னா நம்ம இந்த February March SMA accounts வச்சு அனலைசிஸ் பண்ணி முடிச்சிரோம். My request will be please take at least or 6 months SMA accounts எடுங்க. You do a VLOOKUP to see which are the accounts which are gone out of SMA. அப்படின்னா அந்த லோன் வந்து ரீஸ்ட்ரக்சரிங் பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னு ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிடும். அவங்க ரீபே பண்ணிருக்காங்களான்றது தெரிஞ்சிடும். So all those things you can do it yourself without relying on the data which is given by the bank. What if the restructuring has happened without any documents? Like last time somebody was asking whether restructuring can be done on its own. On its own is not possible actually. You need the concurrence of the customer. So those things you will never be able to find from the data actually. So the SMA data வந்து நம்ம ஒரு monthly 6 months analysis பண்ணோம்னா we can know which one has gone out of SMA. டிசம்பர்ல இருந்தது ஜனவரியில இல்ல பிப்ரவரியில இல்லைன்னா அது எதனால SMA விட்டு வெளியே போச்சுன்றது அந்த அக்கௌண்ட் வந்து நம்ம கொஞ்சம் க்ளோஸா பார்த்தோம்னா we can get to know what was exactly thing they have did, and if it is satisfactory we can note down that these are the basis in which they have did and we can kind of ignore it. So thank you friends. With a limited time I think I am able to just bring about the concepts which you can use for you to complete the bank audit on time.